So it's been a little while since I recorded last. Hit some pretty bad road bumps, and as you can see behind me, I've kind of changed my my approach on the Land Cruiser. So coming underneath here, let me see if I can't show what I'm looking at for some of the rust under the frame here. So you can see all this splitting here, and some pretty decent holes in the frame, and it's like that on both sides, pretty badly. So basically, I got pretty frustrated with the Land Cruiser and with how things were going with it. I wasn't really feeling, I guess, up to continuing to work on it. In fact, I tried trading it for a YJ for a bit there, but after looking at Land Cruiser market prices and whatnot, I found out that not only are Land Cruiser prices still just as expensive as when I bought this, but they're actually getting worse for the 60 series Land Cruiser. So I realized that honestly, if I were to sell this Land Cruiser, I would probably never be able to get back into the market anytime in the next like 10-20 years. So I figured I would completely restore what I've got. So today, me and a buddy went through and completely stripped the interior of the shag carpet and the seats and all that stuff. The plan is sometime next week I'm going to get a shop vac and just go through and clean this out. Might also hose it out a little bit, try and get it, but pulling that carpet and the seats up highlighted pretty well what I need to do on the interior for the body tub. So as you can see, on both sides, you got the wheel well rotted out over there and on there. So that's going to need to be replaced, or not replaced necessarily, but repaired, patched most likely. On the back, so the back body tub is actually pretty solid, with the exception of this area here. So I'm going to need to patch that as well. Quarter panels on the outside, I already knew I was going to need to do that. Some of this door frame area as well, and then down in here, I already knew those were going to need to be fixed, but specifically that back panel was something that I wasn't aware of, or that back floor panel. Also, so this quarter panel here is going to need to be either replaced or fixed. It's got that rust hole there and stuff along the side there. And then coming into this, got another hole right there in the tub. This area specifically is fairly clean, which I was surprised about, at least as far as I can tell. I haven't pulled up this noise insulator or heat insulator or whatever it is to find out what's going on this side. But coming back around, pulling up the floor mat here, showed, look at that floorboard. There's like nothing, no structural stability to that. So that's going to need to be completely cut out and replaced. So the plan currently is I'm going to strip the body, pretty much everything out of it. I've put all the stuff that I've already pulled out into the shed that we've got back in our backyard. That stuff, there's still plenty of room for the rest of the interior in there, and probably even what's in the engine compartment, so I just need to get that all put in. So I'm going to completely strip this, just down to the paint. I'm not going to mess with the paint yet, but I want to make this as light as possible, so that way when I lift it up, I can get the chassis out from under it a little easier. So I'm thinking that most likely what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to replace the chassis rather than repair it. There's a lot of used frame options that I can get, a couple different places that I could get a custom brand new frame made. So there's options on that. So I'm still kind of considering what I'm going to do, but regardless of what I end up doing, it's going to be a different frame than what's currently under it. So I'm going to continue stripping the body of all of its parts, try and get it down to as little stuff on the Land Cruiser as possible. And then I'm going to put the suspension back together that I've taken apart. Basically just so it's going to be kind of placeholder stuff, so that way the axles sit where I need them to, just long enough so I can lift the body up off of the frame and then roll the chassis out from underneath it. Once that's done, I'll put the axles underneath the new chassis and roll it back under. So I'm also going to be pulling engine and transmission out of the engine bay. Multiple reasons on that. A, it's going to help make it so I don't have to lift the body up as high, I'm hoping, in order to get the chassis out from underneath the body. And also, I'm planning on swapping them. So the plan currently is I'm going to get a small block Chevy V8 and pair it to an H55F transmission, and that's going to be the power plant for the Land Cruiser. So in regards to actual paint and interior restoration, before I bolt anything back together on this Land Cruiser, before I bolt the new chassis underneath it, the plan is I'm going to try and sandblast or sand all the current paint off, and then get all the body repairs that need to be done and get the patches welded in and all that stuff. And then I'm planning on bed lining the interior. I still got to do some research on that to make sure I'm getting a bed liner that is actually safe for use in an interior, at least, because I've heard that some will break down with heat and release some not so healthy gases, which is not something I'm really wanting to do. So we'll see on that. It could be that I end up doing something different entirely, but at a very minimum, I am not putting shag carpet back in this. The carpet that was in it was disgusting, and you can see even with it removed, there's a lot of stuff. And the one thing I was very surprised at was that there wasn't any trapped moisture underneath the carpet, which is usually what happens, from what I've been told. With a lot of vehicles that have that kind of carpeting, the carpet will just trap moisture under it and rust it out. So I was expecting it to be a lot worse than it ended up being. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with it. As you can see, doors are off, the seats are out, carpet's all out. I managed to forget to take the tailgate and hatch off. So that was a bit of an oversight on my part. I guess, whoops on that. I'll have to take those off later because I am going to be also stripping these. One big thing I've seen a lot of people will do is they're going to do an interior restoration where they put carpet down. They'll carpet the tailgate. I do not want to carpet the tailgate because I want to keep this bar thing here. This bar is actually a factory part from what I've discovered, and it is not a common one, so I don't want to get rid of it. But yeah, so we'll see. Also, the side panels on either side of the rear here, the original side panels are gone. Those plastic panels are gone. And what I'm kind of thinking I want to do is cut some thin sheets of some either steel or aluminum sheet metal to shape, and kind of making my own new panels for that. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes as I start going along, and hopefully we make some more good progress in the coming weeks.